everyone, it's Seattle Realtor Emily Cressey here, and today I am diving into some exciting big changes coming to Seattle's real estate scene. These are changes that could impact your home and your investment strategy going forward. After about 30 years, Seattle is shaking things up with new zoning laws and housing plans that are set to reshape the city's growth. So in this video, I will be covering the big expansion of accessory dwelling units and how this could impact property values. I will be talking about the rise of what they call middle housing, like duplexes and fourplexes, and what that means for neighborhoods that were once dominated by single-family homes. And we'll talk about how transit-oriented development is going to change the way we think about living near the light rail and the bus stations and making commuting easier, opening up more opportunities for growth. And you might have noticed these changes are not just on the horizon, they're already here, they're already starting to happen. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in Seattle real estate, these updates are crucial for understanding what's next, what the path of progress is, and what's going to be going the way of the dodo bird and harder to find in the Seattle area. So stick around as I break down these details for you about Seattle's future and how you can take advantage of the opportunities that presents. So let's get started. Now, before I dive into explaining all the specifics, I want to give credit to the speaker who shared this valuable information with us at our Keller Williams office in Greater Seattle. The presentation was led by Nick Welch, a senior planner with the Seattle Office of Planning and Community Development. Nick provided a detailed overview of the city's growth plans and the changes to zoning laws and housing regulations that we should be expecting. So I'll be summarizing his key findings, sharing some of his slides that he presented at our office so that you can get a clear picture of what Seattle's real estate future actually holds. So first, we're going to talk about ADUs and DADUs, detached ADUs, and how expanding the possibilities looks for us here in Seattle. So first up, we are seeing a major expansion and promotion of accessory dwelling units in the area. These are changing the game for homeowners, and especially those with a big yard. What we see is that builders are wanting to put more homes in your backyard. So use of these homes was previously somewhat restricted because the cities wanted them to be owner occupied. You could have a detached accessory dwelling unit in your backyard, which is like, think of it as a cabin or a condominium. It's usually a 1 or 2 bedroom home, typically smaller, sometimes must be smaller than the main home. And you could rent it out. You could have it be a mother-in-law suite. Or now what we're seeing is that people are building these with the express purpose of selling them. And they've been set up so that they're too small to be on their own single family lot in some cases. So we're making condominiums with a big main house and then the DADU in the backyard. And we're seeing some of those where there might be 4 small cottage style homes, or there might be two homes, the big house with an attached accessory dwelling unit, and then another one that's detached. So there are all sorts of configurations for these, but we're really pushing in this direction. Washington State passed legislation a couple of years ago saying that anything that historically had been a single family home zoned area now had to allow up to 4 units in that property. That doesn't mean that every single family home site will lend itself to up to 4 units. There could be other reasons that it won't work: height restrictions, size of the lot, setback requirements, and things like that. But a lot of those requirements that had been designed for single family homes are being relaxed and changed. For example, you may not need to have as much parking when you build one of these. You may be able to cover more of the land with impermeable materials that block the rain from coming through more than you would otherwise for a single family home. You might be able to go a little bit closer to the edges of the lot. So the city of Seattle has been tasked with the requirement of getting 80,000, I believe, more housing units into the city which the city itself is only about 750,000. So that's a pretty significant increase. And so they have to go with higher density construction. So really what builders are looking for a lot right now is that older home with a nice big yard. And a lot of our lots in Seattle are about 5,000 square feet. So they're finding that if they can get this with the backyard, maybe get a couple of lots close together, they can go high density and build townhomes in this previously like residential neighborhood with lower rise homes. Now we're seeing all the little bungalows and craftsman home neighborhoods start to have these vertical housing, tall skinnies, I call them, townhomes, popping up there that are 3 and 4 stories tall. And so it's significantly changing the face of the neighborhood. Not everyone likes it. The neighbors often don't like it, but we are seeing this as a technique to reshape neighborhoods and bring higher density into neighborhoods that are desirable because of location, proximity to light rail, proximity to downtown. People want to live there, and they're willing to live there in a tall, skinny townhouse instead of the single family homes. Not only are there more units going to be now available, but presumably at a lower price point than a detached single family house with a large yard would have sold for. And this has been going on since about 2019, when Seattle made it easier for homeowners to build these types of units on the property. And it has led to a 4-fold increase in permits for ADUs. There's more flexibility in zoning, including larger DADUs, and it's encouraging property owners to add extra living spaces that can provide rental income or serve as a guest home. So you don't have to wait and sell your home to a builder someday. You could take advantage of this by building your own unit in your backyard and then selling that as a profit, as a condominium, or selling it when you sell the home as 2 separate properties. There are still some bugs to be worked out with the lot line adjustments and everything because of the too small lot sizes that this sometimes produces. But right now, condominiumizing it is the answer, and we're looking at some other solutions going down the road. So if you're thinking about investing in that place for your mother-in-law or your grown kids or something like that, it's a great way to add value to your property and meet the growing need for affordable housing in Seattle. And the value should be there when you go to resell the property. It's not just for your family members anymore. What Nick told us they were really pushing for and trying to create solutions for is what they called middle housing, which is sort of a new trend in zoning. They're looking for something. I asked him specifically, what does that mean? And he said it's something between an apartment and a high-rise apartment building and a single-family house. So it could take a lot of different forms. They see it as, it could be a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, something with a shared wall. It could be a cottage court. They have some different 9-unit, like smaller apartment buildings, and they're actually creating plans and providing blueprints for these to make it easier and more accessible for people to get the plans approved and implement them, know their costs. So Seattle is supporting this by doing some of the homework and the legwork for you to allow you to create these types of buildings more expeditiously. Historically, Seattle had a lot of single-family homes and very limited multifamily zoning. But now, like I said before, with the Washington state zoning laws allowing up to 4 units per lot, it's creating a big shift that's really changing the face of a lot of neighborhoods that have historically been just single-family homes. And the goal, again, is affordable housing and getting people closer to walk and biking distance for public transportation. So we'll talk about that too. But specifically, middle housing is for affordable housing. They've kind of admitted defeat. Not everyone will be able to have the single family house with the white picket fence. Affordability is low. I'm sorry, well, like no one can afford to buy a house here, right? The homes are very expensive. So they're trying to find more pathways to home ownership for people who are not going to be able to at least enter into a single family home market. Now we're going to switch to the next point, which is he talked about transit oriented development, TOD. housing near transit. And this is really important. We just spent billions of dollars on our light rail system. It's open now up to where I live in past me. I live in Shoreline. We have 2 stops, and it goes all the way up to Linwood. And I believe eventually it'll go up to Everett. It's going down past the airport and to Federal Way. So we're really building out this light rail infrastructure, and they want to get their money's worth out of it by having a lot of people use it, as many people use it as possible. Now, I would say it's already pretty crowded over there during rush hour and stuff. So I don't know how many more people can use it, or if they're going to add more trains or what. But anyway, the goal is to get everybody using it and fewer people driving around in their cars. So the plan is to create more housing near these light rail stations and rapid ride bus lines. There's bus lines everywhere, obviously. Well, everywhere, right? There are a lot of bus lines, but they're focusing in on specifically the higher speed buses, the rapid rides that are along the main thoroughfares. And they have statistics that talk about how many people are in different neighborhoods and near different buses, and what counts as a targeted transit stop and that type of a thing. But as Seattle expands its transit system, essentially, the city is making sure that there are going to be enough housing options nearby to put people on the bus and put people on the train. And they want to have you be walking there and biking there and not using the park and ride unless absolutely necessary, right? I feel like they never put enough parking spots in the park and ride, but so far so good. It's been okay near us in Shoreline. So we are thinking of this as a way to make commuting easier and encourage growth and housing development near the transit hubs. And that is going to help reduce the car dependency, lower the horrible traffic congestion on I-5 and 405, and provide more, well, I guess 405 is in Bellevue. This is mostly just focused on Seattle. So Bellevue will have to make its own choices. But and then the goal is also to provide more affordability for people who need to be close to public transportation. So as you go around and you look at the light rail stops, look at how much growth we are having with higher rise. Here in Shoreline, they've rezoned a lot of things to be like 70 feet tall buildings are now allowed in some areas, and then 30-foot tall buildings are allowed, kind of the next tier, as part of a big rezone that they did in association with the building of our light rail stops. And so they're right by my house. I went by there, and it's going up. And then they've got these blocks of old single family homes that are boarded up and fenced off. And they're going to be building something there next. So now that you know kind of what's ahead for Seattle's real estate market, it's time to take action. So whether you're planning to buy, sell, invest, or maybe even build something yourself in the greater Seattle area, I'm here to help guide you every step of the way. With years of experience, decades now, in real estate investing, and I've been a broker, a homeowner, I've been a Seattle native, right, the whole bit. So I have a very data-driven approach, and I am here to help you navigate these changes and make some informed decisions that align with your goals. So if you're ready to explore your options, or you just want to discuss how these shifts might impact your real estate plans, should I sell to a builder or should I sell to another homeowner, right? Don't hesitate to reach out. As your trusted real estate local expert, I'm always here to provide insights and support whether or not you're ready to make a transaction. So you can reach me directly through my website, homeproassociates.com, or click on the link to schedule a consultation. Thanks so much. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality together.